have Chuma Raymond rather, to come forward with his panel members. They'll be talking about the future of real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for him.
I mean, you
I
know
appreciate
that
him.
real estate is the new oil money. So let's talk about this.
Aside from tech,
yes,
you can dive into real estate and make liquid gold from them.
They are still on their way to the stage. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I can't hear you. Hello? Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. The official reason I'm here is to moderate this panel session on the future of real estate. The unofficial reason why I'm here is because my mom insists I must come home with a wife this year. So if you are rich and young, please text me. All right, awesome. So we are here for a very important conversation. I think that real estate is unarguably one of the oldest industries of all time. We've always needed space, whether it is for farming, to run our business, or to live in. And over the years, the way that we deal with this need for space has evolved. And with the advent of the internet, there's become a new form of real estate even, which is one that is heavily powered and influenced by technology. And there's now even real estate, which is basically ownership of mindshare over the web. It means that when we come for conversations like this, it's important that we engage with how technology is impacting and influencing this very, very aged industry. I'm really excited to do this, and some of the guests that we have here are the best minds across private sector and all of the intersecting industries. I'll proceed to introduce them, and as I do, I indulge you to welcome them with a deserving amount of applause. Right. So our first guest is the chairman of the Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, a very brilliant man and a finance person. Please welcome Mr. Emmanuel Ekene Nnamani. Following him is another very brilliant young man. He's the Chief Operations Officer at OneStack. His name is Mr. Joseph Ndinefo. Joining us on stage as well is another really very brilliant man. I met him yesterday and I've been quite impressed by who he is and how he thinks. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Arelau. Again, I'm probably butchering the name. A round of applause, please, for Mr. Andrew Chidebere. And finally, probably most importantly in the context of this conversation, we have the founder of Prop Crowdy and the president of the Nigerian Prop Tech Association, Dr. Roland Ibinoba. A round of applause, please, for them as they all come up on stage. Do we have Dr. Roland Ibinoba with us? All right. For brevity of time, we're just going to move on with the conversation, and hopefully you can join us at some point. Do you all have microphones by your side? All right, great. So a bit of housekeeping, just so that we are able to properly deal with your questions. If at any point during this conversation you have any questions, any concerns, please ensure that you write them down and give them to any of the event staff that you see around so that they can pass it to us at the earliest possible time so that things are able to work well. My friends, gentlemen, thank you for coming on board. Right, so for just 30 seconds, we'll like you to quickly do a small introduction of who you are, what you do, just so that our audience can know you about you a bit more. So we can start with you, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel Ekene Nnamani. I'm the Executive Chairman, Enugu State Internal Revenue Service. When you go around Enugu, you see that taxes are being collected. It's our office that is doing that. In technology, there is tax in it. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Onyebuchi Joseph Ndenefo. I am the COO of One Stack Nigeria Limited. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Chidebere, and I'm the CEO of Allo Homes. Allo is a website and a mobile app built to connect buyers and sellers of houses. So it's a PropTech company focusing on solving the finding of houses across Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's an honor to be sharing the stage with you guys. I'll just go right into it. Just because of recency bias, I'm going to move the first question to Mr. Emmanuel. Earlier this week, the National Assembly passed the National Tax Bill. I had the reaction when he mentioned that he was our own tax collector. But would like to know, what does this mean for the tech industry as well as the real estate industry as two separate entities, but also collectively at the intersection of technology and real estate? What does the outlook of this new tax bill do for all of us here?
Great. Let me start by making an inquiry. As a Nigerian, are you aware there is a new tax law or new tax bill that have been passed into law yesterday, awaiting Mr. President's assent? Are you aware of it? Do you think it does not concern you? Okay. Let me start by saying that as we build technology, we should be very mindful of the tax that is associated with our technology. In Nigeria, we have tax system that over the years have not actually worked the way we want it to work. And the advocacy for tax compliance has not actually been there. In our secondary school, somebody will go to school from primary, secondary, university, and the person may not have heard about tax at all. And the person starts working, probably the first time he's hearing about tax is when they pay you your first salary and give you your pay slip, you see a deduction like called tax. I'm thinking that we need to go beyond that. Tax is a law in our country, and we must all pay attention to the provisions of the tax law. We have 4 bills recently passed by the National Assembly, both the House of Representatives and the Senate. This tax law, one is Nigerian Tax Bill, which is Nigerian Tax Act, when it is assented to. We also have Tax Administration Law. Then we have what we call the Revenue Service, Nigerian Revenue Service Board Law, and all this. The question is, what is the new thing this tax law is bringing about? The tax law is now being embedded in technology. So it is an opportunity for the tech ecosystem to rise up to the occasion of the new tax reform to make much more money than we are making before. And how does it work? In the new tax law, what is required is that we want to identify you. Nigeria has done everything to identify individuals using name, C, national identification number, using ESBN, using all sorts of things. It hasn't actually worked. Because if I have my kids who is one month old today, I can use the name of my kid and buy a property, a real estate worth 200 million naira, and I will register it anywhere in Nigeria. And nobody will be able to dictate that this kid is not of age to own this property. That is going to stop with the new tax law. With the new tax law, there's nothing you're going to hide from the government. Even the bank balance you have, the account balance, or the money you have in your bank account, be it microfinance bank, government will have access to it. Another one is that the new tax law has created a massive opportunity for the tech ecosystem. One of these opportunity has created is what the tax law calls fiscalization. The fiscalization means that even somebody selling a egusi in Ogbete is not expected to sell a egusi without giving receipts from a technology government has adopted. So, if that is what the tax law has said, what is the tech ecosystem doing to take advantage of this opportunity? So that is actually a lot. If we begin to discuss the provisions of the tax law, I don't think we are going to leave this place because we are going to set it section by section, and we are going to see the advantages you have. The tax law also gave a waiver. Don't bother yourself, you're not going to pay any tax. You're not going to pay anything. So the people that are going to pay are the rich. But remember, when we say the rich, make sure you are not among the rich. Because with technology can build rich people overnight. So as we are here, technology bridges the gap, creates middle class unknowingly. And when technology is creating middle class unknowingly, check your income and know whether when you have transmitted from a teenage boy to a rich man. It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with education. It has nothing to do with class. Because a lot of you are saying we are investing in crypto. When you invest in crypto and the thing rises, you have transmitted from low income earner to a very high income earner. And by then, the law will ask you to pay tax. But for now, you are not going to pay anything. Because there's an exemption up to 1.2 million naira. So for you to pay tax, you must be earning above 1.2 million naira. These are the provisions of the tax law. But the tax law has a lot of opportunity for the tech ecosystem. So let us converge, let us collaborate, let's ask questions, and let's tap from the opportunity it has created. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, a round of applause for him for all of that depth. And he basically broke down the bill off the top of his head, and I think that is amazing. My favorite thing was when he said that the solution to not having to pay tax right now is to be poor. So people like me and you are safe in this moment. So I'll just move the next question to Joseph. And I think that this is a question that so many people here are going to relate to. We have tons of real estate businesses, one-person real estate agents, and all of those kinds of things. Your experience with OneStack has been around business processes and optimizing them to achieve business outcomes. So what's your outlook on the real estate industry and how they can better think like business people and better optimize their business processes using technology, of course, in order to meet the demands of the technicalization of most of our industries in this time?
Thank you so much. I'll have to approach this question by breaking it down. Like you said from my experience in doing digital transformation and integrations in the same real estate. I think first and first is you need to consider knowledge. For instance, many people and some people who are here also might be thinking, when you think about real estate or you think about technology, the first thing that comes to your mind is softwares or hardwares, so to say. But what you don't know is that technology, as it's called, is not actually a business. First of all, you have to build a business, and then you use technology to do enhancement of your business. So in my daily job and role, I focus more on translating already existing business processes, removing what is not there or what shouldn't be where it is, and then improving the structure of a business to ensure that the business is doing better. And in real estate, there is often a misconception. So a good example, a company maybe in Enugu here that is into real estate, there are two things you will see. If they are a core real estate business, they are into property development or they are into property management, which means their customers are people like me and you. You are in need of a property, you want to rent, what have you. But the misconception that I've always seen is that the tech people, when you think about getting into real estate, the first thing that comes to your mind is, let me build a software, and then maybe I can list these people's properties, so to say. I must tell you, the technology is not actually the business, it's an enabler. So what I will say is this: first thing, you need to do what I call consultative selling, where you pay attention to your target customers. You need to define who these customers are, and you tell yourself, if you are looking at real estate businesses, that means your primary customers are the business, or is your primary customers people who are looking for the business, real estate business? These are two dimensions to this question. So you first of all need to understand what you want to actually solve in real estate, and not make the mistake of building a listing platform and call it a real estate business. You are not into real estate, and it's not necessarily prop tech, because here is the thing. If you have a platform where you list products or you list buildings for people to buy, there is no difference between you and a friend who shares properties, or that agent friend of yours who shares properties on their status. So automatically you're not doing anything that is completely different, and you're not necessarily doing business transformation. There is a concept called business moat. This is where you build an edge around a business you do. That is why I said that the major problem is usually understanding. Most times we mislabel things. So if you want to get into real estate and you want to do proper real estate digitalization or transformation, or get into property tech, I will advise you to first of all look at real estate as a business and forget about technology. And then ask yourself, inside real estate, what aspect of real estate can I actually digitalize? What aspect of real estate is a pain point for the core business? Because if you build a tech company and you are not into property development or selling, or you are not into buying land, building it, selling it, or renting it, you are doing aggregation. So what will make an agent to come to you, or a real estate company to come to you, and not just go and talk to their lawyer? Because this is the things that people don't understand. Real estate is very big. And real estate is one area where you deal with a lot of documentation. Documentation is real estate. Without documentation, you don't have real estate. So what I will advise is this: don't go into just doing aggregation. Think beyond that. Think about the real problems that real estate businesses are having. It can be change of names. I'm grateful for the innovation that has come to Enugu State, where you can now do most of these things digitally, but these are also arms that you can extend. Okay? Think about the digitalization. Think about a free, simple business idea in that same area from the experience we've had. Every real estate company requires a lawyer, and it's one of their big challenges. But the thing is, in dealing with lawyers, it's a relationship thing. Now, you can actually think, if you want to do aggregation, you can actually aggregate the lawyers that specifically work on this. But don't think about just the aggregation. That is usually the problem. Don't think about just, let me bring these people together. You must think about the business, the structure. Then that will give you an understanding to what you will now use technology to augment. Because the purpose of technology is to make things fast and to make things better. If you don't have something to make better or something to make fast, then what use is technology to you? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joseph, for that. The thing that stood out for me was the technology is not the business, it's just the enabler. I think that that's an underlying principle that we can apply in multiple other industries. So while Mr. Emmanuel was speaking earlier, our final panelist, Dr. Roland Ibinoba, who is the president of the Nigeria PropTech Association, joined us. Please a round of applause for him. Right, so the next question is for you, Andrew. Very briefly, what are 5 major points of friction in the real estate business that can be really improved upon by technology?
Thank you very much. Just like the previous speaker said, so the business the technology in real estate business is not the buying and selling. And number one thing that Nigerians lack mostly is the mortgage option. Our mortgage system has not been digitalized. Someone cannot just apply for mortgage, and it's one of the problems Allo is solving. And then the issue of seeing property detailing. One of the problems we're also solving with Allo Homes is being able to see the detail of property, including to the floor plan, being able to understand this property you are buying, being able to use Google Map integration to see the location of this property, make a wise choice. And then again, on the business, another problem we are solving with technology is giving you the opportunity to make a wider choice. So when you choose with one single agent or one single realtor, you get limited of 20 property, or at most 30, or at most 50. But then with a platform like Allo, you get to understand the different properties, their categories, what they entails, the land capacity of that property. Because with our platform, you can also enter the square meter of that land. So if you are looking for a 5-bedroom duplex, and then with a 1,000 square meter option, that means you have option to have a bigger compound. And when you go through this agent, they will not tell you this detailing. But with Allo Homes, you can be able to understand that this property has a wider compound. You can as well build in the future on the rest. Then, and another thing we are trying to do is being able to bring diaspora buyers. Because in the general market of Nigeria, especially in real estate, diaspora buyers are one of the key players. As of last year, they made an investment more than 20 billion, and the president of PropTech can confirm that. So these diaspora buyers need to trust, and that trust is what we are bringing in real estate through partnership with developers. Then being able to reach to those diaspora buyers where they can be able to trust a partnership through Allo.
To make that very hectic, informal part of real estate development to become more standardized.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm just going to say this. Earlier I was speaking to Doug, and I was telling him that we are not just selling property. And when a property is listed on Allo, when it gets sold, you don't delist it, you don't delete it. So you leave it sold so that in the future, if you want to sell it, someone can determine that this property was sold 100 million last year, and it can be sold. It's not going to go for less than 100 million again. So it's increasing the value. And we agree that it's also getting data. So I'll give you this. Last year, there was a product we tried to develop for Enugu State, and we were trying to get the data of all the houses in Enugu. So we couldn't get this data complete. We had to go to the SWAMA, the EDC, the Enugu Housing and Development before we can be able to contain or determine an estimated data. So, but with Allo Home, we can be able to keep the numbers of houses which has been sold. And on our platform again, we're also incorporating projects. So in Explore projects, when you come to Allo Homes, you Explore projects. These projects are real estate developers. What they are doing, you can be able to determine how these properties are going to look at when they are finished, and you can be able to know the stage where they are. These processes is also helping buyer or helping an investor make a wise choice in the real estate space. And also these data, we have a very large cloud space. That's why we are not deleting anything. So everything is going to be there, storing this data for future purposes. And also on our platform, we're also providing an advert placement for anything concerning real estate. The security system, people who are building smart homes can advertise on the platform for people who is buying to purchase from them, people who are doing cleaning services. So we are trying to bring everything into the system. So one of the flyers, we call it all-in-one app about real estate. So one of the challenges about this thing is land listing, which we have been trying to be able to solve. And solving this, we are using only developers, verified developers for this partnership. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Round of applause for him, please. Joseph, I think you love this question because it's around like education, but in this instance, it's no longer maybe internal teams training or digital transformation, but around customer education. So I think that everybody here is a possible real estate customer in the future. So I would like to know what are the common possible misconceptions that people have about the real estate industry and prop tech, and what can we do collectively to standardize the process for education across the board?
Oh, okay. Thank you for the question. Like the last answer that I gave, the biggest misconceptions that you have or you will always encounter from even the people who are buying real estate and some people who want to do business in real estate is actually being able to define the term. Like when one of the speakers was speaking, he talked about, he was defining his business and he said he's the only real estate company licensed. That he had to make that emphasis because there is a difference. Now, we are talking about prop tech. Prop tech, in simple definition, is simply putting technology in real estate, which is what I talked about before. It is we have a very big problem once we misunderstand the definition of this. And this helps both people who want to innovate in this space and then people who want to buy into this space, because it leads you to go into the wrong provider for the services that you need. So for real estate, like I said before, real estate has, if you look at real estate, it has a lot of areas. You can think about property management, you can think about logistics, just like you also mentioned when you started speaking. Real estate does not end at the time when the buildings are existing. It starts from the time people, the real estate developers start making discussions about a particular layout. So supply chain or logistics is an aspect. So if you are someone and you want to innovate in prop tech, don't just think about listing properties. Because if you list properties, it's easy to change you. It's easy to move your business away. Once there is a new someone that is more competent or someone that has more integrity, is going to phase out your business quickly. So you could consider the areas of logistics in real estate. And what does this mean? You could say, okay, if you have an aggregate of people who are willing to supply to verified real estate developers on some certain forms of agreements, maybe a payment term, which, as I always say, the tech is not the business, because now you need to think about the structure. How do you enforce the agreement that is had? So you could look into logistics, and that is why I will say this and don't feel offended. Most tech people are lazy. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Why is a good thing is that it makes you to come up with better ways to solve problems. But why is a bad thing and something that has hindered innovation, especially I've seen it in Enugu. There are some properties, okay, I don't want to call the company names for obvious reasons, but there are some businesses that are even outside Enugu. They list, you go there, you see properties, you call one agent, he tells you a story. There is lack of trust. And why people go for that is because we don't think about the problem, we just think about making money. While making money is good, I will advise that it's important you think about the real problems that you want to solve, and that is what will make you difficult to be changed. So you could consider property management, you could consider logistics or supply chain in real estate, you could consider sales as well. When you think about sales, you should consider about the proper documentations that has to do with it. Like I said before, one of the practical experience or operations we have done for some companies in Enugu here is where we have to, a good example, something that is very common in every business. a business owner, especially in real estate, there is going to be a manager, there is going to be someone in the field, there is someone coordinating sales and all stuff. You could build solutions that target real estate companies to help them manage their entire operations, keeping track of every document that have gone through in the same process. These are the hard process. And I believe in me, when you build these solutions, you will see the real estate companies willing to pay you. But when you think shabby or you think in the lazy way, you think about the finished product. You think about, okay, there are 5 businesses around here. I can just go talk to them. Let them give me their product. I list it on my platform. And then it keeps the circle. But that does not really bring the sustainable change. Because you can give a forecast of sales. But the truth is, many of us have used apps like Bolt and even Bolt, the guys in transportation, they have all learned to adapt to our market. What does that mean? You call a Bolt guy and he tells you he can't allow you to pay through the app. So you guys need to do negotiation off the app. And that is the same thing that happens on the platform you list. So the best you can do is that you charge people to list the product, and that's where your revenue ends. But that is not where your revenue generation should end. The only reason why it's there is because you are not willing to go the extra mile to build a business out of what you want to do. So the major misconception we've always had is proper labeling of what PropTech is all about, and proper being able to focus truly on a particular niche of the real estate in which you want to transform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Right, to round up this phase of questioning with our panelists, Mr. Emmanuel, back to you again. So just a few numbers from our research. There's around 800,000 properties in Enugu State in this moment. It is projected that you will collect around 21 billion naira in land use taxes this year. So how I'm curious is, what role do you think that technology, property tech, will play in the standardization of assessments, tracking the value of these taxes and properties across the board? I think to put this in a one-liner, how does technology help you collect all this money?
Thank you. When it comes to property in Enugu, we have a technology that gave us a volume of property in Enugu to be around 800,000. And when we talk about Enugu, it's not just Enugu City, we're talking about Enugu State. Within Enugu, the data we have is about 92,000 property within Enugu City. Then, these property are divided into zones: Abakpa, Emene, Obiago, Independence Layout, GRA, Coal Camp, Acha Layout, Awan Road. We have all these property delineated in accordance with the land zone. We also have the Nsoka, the Oji River, the 9th Mile, the Albany. All the property are properly labeled. Now, this property, we collect what we call land use charge. The land use charge is measured based on the government estimated value of the land. Now, we did a survey with some practitioners in the real estate. And we have values for lands in Independence Layout, Emene, Abakpa, GRA. And we found out that if we must charge people based on the value of property currently in Enugu, many will not be able to pay. So what government did was to discount the values of the land. Like currently, land in GRA, a plot of land go up to 100 to 120 million naira, a plot. But government discounted it to 60 million naira, a plot. The same thing with Independence Layout, where as well people buy property for 100 to 120, 140 million naira. Government discounted it to 70 million naira. Because if we apply this formula we use in generating land use charge, the price will be very high and people will not be able to pay. Then we expected to generate 21 billion naira from this property within Enugu. And you can also know that is our area of concentration. Why is it our area of concentration? An average Igbo man invests his money in property. No matter how you think you are wealthy in Igbo land and you don't have your own house, I don't think you have money. Am I saying something? So because an average Igbo man invests his money in property, government should also take advantage of that ecosystem and earn revenue. In earning this revenue, we must ensure that people have the capacity to pay. That is why we calibrated this our revenue in MNA. Some MNA pay 24,000 naira a whole year, about 36,000 a year. If you go to Achale out, Abani Road, 56,000, 76,000, Transekulu, 76,000. However, if you must live in a highbrow area of Enugu, such as GRA, Independence Layout, you pay up to 266,000 naira a year. So somebody will say, why should they pay? Why you must pay such money is because you are sitting on wealth. If you cannot afford to live in that area, you know what to do. You have to utilize the PropTech and the Arrow, and you know what to do immediately so that you make what we call a leverage or arbitrage in your estate, and you have balance to as well attend party and do other things. However, to earn this money requires technology. The technology we use, we call ProGIS. That ProGIS is tagged to what we called the GPRS. If I want to locate your home now, if I have a bill and I don't know where your house is located, I'll put on my GPRS, put the bill there. It will lead me to your house. I will deliver the land use charge. That's why you see that almost every building in Enugu has land use charge, demand notice, pasted in front of the gate. Almost every building, because we have a technology. However, it is not yet uhuru for Enugu in terms of land use charge, because we have not over the years built a system that aggregates all the property we have in Enugu. I don't think Enugu today can boast of a cadastre that shows, look at the land lay of Enugu, look at the property laying of Enugu in accordance with the zones. And that's why the state government has invested massively in what we call the NGIS, the Enugu State Geographic Information System, whereby in that NGIS, it can do everything for Enugu. You can register your property. You can also get CFO from survey plan to CFO stage can be done within 48 hours. Then when we capture all the buildings in Enugu, the ProGIS will also have to do more. Therefore, I'm calling on people in the real estate. Study what we are doing in this area, and let's see where we can collaborate, where we can partner. It is not yet uhuru, because where we're supposed to be generating an average of 84 million naira every day, if we must achieve the 21 billion, we are still hovering between 10 to 15 million naira daily. So the gap is much. And when we have this gap, we need technology to step up and scale up in what we are doing. So these are areas of massive importance to the state. Not just for the state, but for me and you. Because when we make this money, we build more roads. When we make this money, we will put technology in our smart schools. When we make this money, our hospital will also be tech embedded. When we make this money, this place will be more AI than you may think. That because there's nothing wrong in your seat for the seat where you are sitting to be showing you my name when I'm talking. And also be translating to your phone exactly what I'm saying. So these are things technology can do in that ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I hope that some of these things he said has shown you some opportunities and gaps that we could be building into. So I'm just going to quickly move into the questions from the audience. We got a handful of them, but some of them are unfortunately not related to the theme of this conversation. Yeah. So we're only going to take the questions that are related to the conversation that we're having right now within the real estate ecosystem. This question, I think, is going to be best answered by Joseph because you are a professional that, in the sense of the word, is not actively a real estate practitioner, but you support like real estate professionals. So the question is, can a social media marketer who is a law student work in real estate and technology?
Thank you so much for that question. The short answer to your question is yes. A real estate company needs adverts. A real estate company needs to build a brand. My advice would be, in addition to your social media marketing skills, perhaps you should leverage on the last talks that we had, some partnerships. Speak to your friends who know how to do graphics. Speak to your friends who can do printing. And then you could have yourself a small team that handles a corporate brand, and that will improve your service offering to the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph. And I think that sort of sufficiently answers that question. This question, again, just because when we stay in team, Dr. Roland has spoken a lot about crowdfunding and raising money in real estate. I think that this question is probably most relevant to the work that you do. A short version of the question is this. If someone, or if you find someone interested in purchasing land or properties, do I get a commission on introducing them to you? And what products can I go to find those kinds of opportunities for referrals and earning commissions from real estate sales and tech?
No, we don't do agency business. So maybe someone else should take that question.
Okay, thank you for that question. I think that question should be directed to me. Yes, of course. That's exactly one of the things we are building on the platform. There is no limitation of what you can do with Allo. You can list your property. You can get commission for advertising for us. So when you get any person interested in buying a land or buying a house, so we don't basically sell lands, but then we have partnership with developers who sells land. So if you bring these people to us, we refer to the developer, then we give you exactly what the developer is giving to us. Thank you.
Please a round of applause for Andrew. Thank you so much, guys, for indulging us and for participating in this conversation. I think that this is an ongoing conversation that probably needs a handful more robust engagements for us to fully materialize all the potential within this industry. Did you have fun? Did you have fun?